I am late because I'm having an issue with my laptop. And I need to get my Facebook on. Hey, cuz. Oh, all the cousins are logging on. My Google Chrome is not working. And I need it. I need my Google Chrome. Hi. Waiting for a few people to join while I figure out why the hell. That's why I'm not a MacBook girl. Because how do you search on this thing? Hi, family. Hey, Carly. My Google Chrome has left the laptop completely. And I don't know how to... Oh, here we go. Chrome. Why is it not coming up? Oops. Allow. Hey, I'm struggling on this dang MacBook that always works, but today she decided that Google Chrome is going to lock me out, but I think I'm back. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Tasha. Hi, Chef Coco. Almost had a panic attack because my Facebook wasn't loading. And I do have some folks on there, aka my mama, that wants to watch. But your girl is brilliant. And I figured it out. I hope everyone has had a good week so far. Sorry I keep moving the camera. I'm trying to adjust my situation. Okay, back in business. Whew. Almost pulled a fast one. Hey, Mel. Trying to load my Facebook so that I'm live. I usually do my Facebook first, but tonight, Facebook was not Facebooking. I have a tan now, so now my wig looks a little lighter than my face. All right. Yeah, act like y'all don't see that. I'm hot. Last week I complained about the landlord not giving us heat. Now today it's too much heat. Hey, Ma. I actually need a straw for the situation. Sarita, I was just struggling and sweating with this MacBook. Oh my God. I need to become a Mac girl because all of my friends, Sarita, Michelle, you guys are, oh, and Alice, y'all Mac girls. I'm a PC honey, okay? Take me back to the 80s where I belong. Well, there was too many drugs in the 80s. Maybe the 90s? I don't know. The train system currently is giving the 70s. So... we gotta get it together. But okay. I started a few minutes late today, 9:17 instead of 9:15, and I woke up from my nap early enough. So yeah, thank you everyone for the well wishes on my new baby. Excuse me. We're gonna set out the ground rules a little early. So the first ground rule is do not touch me. Don't touch me. Ask first, like, hey, can I touch your belly? Because this is not a petting zoo. Like, I don't want to be touched. I don't want to be pet. And baby's name. His name is my son. His name is my boy. His name is the boy. His name is once Candy, but as soon as I have Candy, I regret it. His name is, giving me acid reflux. His name is Make Me Big Back. I'm a 34, my bra, and I think I'm at the halfway mark, and I need a 36 already, because the boobs are growing faster than anything else. Don't touch me. Oh, Isaiah, are you joining us from the world of Mexico? Okay. Tuning in from Mexico. All right, guys. So let's jump into this thing. Tonight, we're discussing family dynamics. Trigger warning. You will be triggered. I don't have too many black facts, like American black facts. So tonight I'm going to be speaking on the Caribbeans, specifically Haitians, for a certain amount of topics, and I will let you know. Isaiah said we're international, okay? Because according to his Instagram stories, he's having a blast, okay? And I hope them folks are not trying to make you try no cocaine, because that's why they're having a good time at that party. It's not the alcohol, trust me. So yeah, tonight's gonna be a little triggering. But before we start tonight, which is episode 4 of season 2, has everyone chosen their word? If you haven't, make that your business. Choose your word of the year. Remember, mine was clarity. It's been getting real clear. It's always been clear that I need to leave my job, but it's getting clearer and clearer. But I do thank God for the peace. It's like ever since I was pregnant, like work has been peaceful, like not stressful. I mean, the regular stress of like managing people, but not like, I've been good. Have any new people utilized therapy? Don't all answer at once. Don't answer at all. It's an internal thing. If you've utilized therapy since our last conversation, you need to do that. We have a lot of people in our lives who lie about going to therapy. I forgot to ask Cornell that. That's weird. Don't lie. That's weird. Don't lie about going to therapy. Just do it or don't do it. Or say, I'm looking for a therapist. Because that is hard work. Okay, yes. Hands up for looking for a therapist. Yes. Let's go to therapy. Let's clear some zen. That will also help with the family dynamics that we're going to discuss tonight. And third, Sarita, you'd be shocked. You'd really be shocked. Okay? It's people out here who's worse than Legion, Risa Tisa Man. And we're going to get on that. So we went over you guys choosing your word for the year. You guys utilizing therapy or therapeutic podcast or content, etc., etc. And the third one is since our last conversation with Zaki, have any of you guys snitched? We have to send the criminals to jail, and we need to do this together. When I was in St. Martin, they were saying that the French side is peaceful and that the Dutch side has a lot more crime. And one of the girls on the trip with us, Yaya, she said that her cab driver told her it's because people on the French side be snitching. So they don't have time for crime. So by the time Joelle done stole the car, Nana is calling and she's telling people what's going on. So I need to know if you guys are snitching. First of all, if you're a law-abiding citizen, such as myself, it's not snitching. You're keeping your community safe. Okay. Since talking to Zaki, have any of you guys committed crimes? These are things we need to know too. Because just in case you need to use that clean slate law, we need to know. And by committing crimes, I'm wondering, are you still stealing at Target, Walmart, those kind of crimes. I don't want to know about murders. Did you guys see today about the activist who lives in the Bronx, of course, and they found body parts in his freezer? Well, he was just on Joe Rogan's podcast talking about how he left the crime life, which is obvious, how he used to be the shooter, I guess, the enforcer. He was the enforcer. And he's been saying, I don't like those Chanel bracelets. If you know somebody with a discount, please let me know. I'd love to indulge in some crime. Some post-crime profits. Purchases, I mean. Anyway, he was activist. He left crime, supposedly. And he's been speaking to his son and children. I mean, he travels and talks about being like not doing crime anymore. But yet he got frozen body parts in his freezer. So they went to his house to do a wellness check. He hadn't been answering his family. And when they went in, the police found the body parts. Whatever you do in the dark will come to light. Literally. Anyway, let's talk about the family remix. Tonight we're going to discuss a couple of things. And basically we're talking about not the standard family. So outside of a 2-parent home with the kids, outside of like that family situation, because every family has their ish. Outside of that, we're discussing family dynamics, because the new age is not 2-parent homes all the time, or not heterosexual homes all the time. And yeah, it's just the reality of life. Like, there is a family remix that is happening now. The first thing we can discuss is the pressure of marriage. If you guys had time or didn't have time, or caught snippets or blogs or news, or everyone talking about, I don't know if it's Risa Tisa or Risa Teresa. She's a woman who dropped a 50-part TikTok on, the topic was, who the F did I marry? And ultimately talks about all the red signs that she saw in her relationship. She thought it was carnival. It was not carnival. It was red flags for real. Like danger, danger, run, run, run. Like those kind of signs. And the biggest piece of that, if you didn't pay attention to it, was that the pressure that her family and society put on her to be married caused her to ignore all the red flags of a man who was not capable of doing any of those things for her, who was not the one. And that is a big pressure in the Haitian household. Since I was a child, you know, it's been ingrained in all of our heads, male and female, that you get married, but especially for the women, you better not get pregnant. You're going to get married first, and then you're going to have a kid. I don't care if you divorced in 25 days. You will have an ex-husband, but you will not be nobody's baby mama. And it sounds light, but it's not. Like, it's literally the most serious thing in the world, which is why when I found out that I was pregnant, number one, I never wanted kids. So, whoa, what? Number two, the first thing I said when I got a phone with my girlfriend, I said, my mother's going to kill me. And that wasn't like a hee ha ha. It was like, no, bitch, I'm dead. Like, she's going to bury me. Like, I've done a million things. I've never been as scared as I was when I had to tell my mom and my brother that I was about to be somebody's mama. Because also in our family, you know, abortion is not, it's not shunned on. But it's also like, ma'am, you 30. What you about to do? Is you gonna keep this kid? So when you think about that, and you think about someone like Risa Tisa, who's older, I assume she's in like her early 40s, getting married and want to have a family comes across as a priority, right? It puts you in a desperate position. Me and my mother were talking the other day, something came on the news, whatever, and she's like, oh, if you would have got, if when you got pregnant, if you and Justin like didn't want to get married, because thankfully we did, you know, he would never have stayed at my house. You would have to go stay at his house. Excuse me. And I would never come see you because I don't want him to think that it's okay for you guys to have a baby and I have to come see you. What does one have to do with another? What does me having a kid have to do with you trying to show this man that he must marry by not coming to visit me? The logic is crazy, right? But also, this is how she grew up, right? This was ingrained in her. This was ingrained in her grandparents and so on and so forth. Like, it's a generational curse that we're going to break. Because while I would love for Phoenix to get married and do all the things, I want Phoenix to be happy, right? And if Phoenix happens to get pregnant and is like, actually, you know, I want to keep my baby, but I don't know if I want to marry him, because marriage is a big responsibility. Like, outside of marriage, when y'all move in together, y'all be like, who is this person? Who are you? Who are you? You know, it's too much pressure. I'm not putting that pressure on her. You have sex without protection, you deal with the consequences of that, however you decide, right? And then from there, we'll go from there. Because what if Justin was a serial killer? I'm going to be his wife? We break in generational curses, and that's one of them. I want my kid to be happy. I want her to follow a path that works for her. And if marriage is not for her, I'm okay with that. Because I always wanted to get married, but I never wanted kids. I don't have a vision board with one baby face on it. Not one. Okay? I had a vision board with a few jobs, which I'm still confused why God keeps adding different things to my vision board. Sir, can we meet in the middle? You keep adding. I said expansion. He said, copy. I'm going to give you a kid. I said, I want more growth. Copy. I'm going to give you another kid. Sir, where is my new job? And here goes my mom in the comments. No marriage, no kids. Oh, my God. And the societal pressures for women are so much different than for men. It's crazy to me. I was dating this guy, and he lived in Maryland. And I'm over 21, but, you know, the New York way is to stay with your parents until you're ready to leave because it's expensive. And he wanted to come out and spend the night. I was like, oh, Ma, can he come spend the night? And she's like, no, he can't. And I was very confused because Kim had 1 million sleepovers. So why can't I have one? And she's like, oh, well, Kim is a boy. What? If y'all treated y'all boys how y'all treat y'all girls, we would have a lot less drama. We would have a lot less children in this world. So let's equal out the responsibility amongst our male children and our female children. And in society, this is society in general. Like, I hate when people say, oh, men are allowed to cheat because there's a disassociation with sex. It is for women as well. Not all women have sex because they want a relationship with this guy. They may see a guy who looks and say, hey, I'm curious about that situation. It's not male or female. It's person. Okay, let's keep going into these family dynamics. The things that parents have drilled into your head. We have to be mindful of the things that we tell our children, or how we treat our children, or everything. Like everything. There was a football player, I can't remember his name, but he was on the Pivot podcast, and he read a very beautiful poem from his phone. Any of the guys who watch Pivot podcast, you guys can drop his name just so I can give folks a reference in the comments. And basically his comment was to be nice to your children, be mindful of how you speak to them, don't yell at them before bed and expect them to sleep well. Excuse me. Don't speak negative to them before they go to school and expect them to have a good day. Treat them with kindness. And clearly he was going through some emotional abuse, right? Obviously, sometimes you got to yell at these kids. Phoenix just went to the bathroom like 4 times. Like, I don't understand her. Her anus literally activates at 9:30. She has to poop, but sometimes she just be faking it. Like, she just goes to the bathroom and say the poops is not coming out her butt. Like, to give us an idea that she's trying. Then I gotta elevate my voice. That kind of yelling is not what we're talking about. We're talking about like true child abuse. And I guess I don't know if abuse is the correct word to use, but just be mindful of the things you put in your children's head, because your one job as a parent that comes with no rule book, right? You could have TMI. You can have your first kid and you think you've mastered it, and then you have a second kid and you think you're going to use all the tools from the first kid on the second kid, and that's not the reality. These kids are different. You cannot have a mindset of, when my kid comes out, or when I raise my kid, they're going to be X, Y, and Z. No. Kids come with personalities. They're already ingrained. I came out mean and nasty. I was mean and nasty in the womb. I came out mean and nasty in real life. It's who I was, it's who I was meant to be. And so be mindful of the things that you teach your children, because that is what they grow up to see. Me growing up seeing my friends like shack up, I was disgusted. Not real life disgusted, but like in a panic. Like, girl, he's never going to marry you, because that's what my mother told me. Then I watched a friend shack up, have a successful marriage, and have kids, right? And it's like, it's not always the reality. Or another friend was telling us recently, like, she was advised, like in her family, like, to not say anything, like not discuss, that's a natural rule. What happens in this house, you don't discuss. But she was advised like not to talk about anything. So then sometimes she's not sure what to talk about in group settings. So it's like, what you mean for good can sometimes turn out bad depending on how the kid perceives it, or just like teaching kids that being gay is wrong. Are you God? Like, I'm very lost. Like, so you sleeping with Tom, Dick, and Harry, having outside children is not bad, but this person being gay is. Okay, make it make sense. Be mindful of what you put in your kids' heads. You have one job. Your job is to make them a good person, and you want them to be happy. While that's not always easy because these kids be trying it, try your best. I have a question. In the family remix, why is there no shame for men? No. Okay, hold on, let's go. I'm sorry, I'm having a brain freeze. If right now I am married to Justin and he has an outside kid, and when I say outside, I just mean outside of the marriage, and I stay, there is no shame, right? It's not no real shame. It's like, oh, she's a rider, she stayed, whatever. But if you don't get married, there's a shame. Like, oh, you're a baby mama. I need to understand the dynamics, because I don't get it. I'm lost, and I'm trying to understand it. In my family, particularly, because I don't know about y'all families, all the marriages that I've seen have come with children being born outside of the marriage. And my father had 2 kids outside of the marriage. I have an older brother who was born before my parents were married, and then I have a younger brother who was born during my parents had a break. He was born, and then once my parents divorced, my father had another kid. So for the sake of this conversation, we're just talking about my brother who was born during my family's break, right? That's a hard no for me. I've said that 100 million times just because I'm tainted from the situation. And I'm trying to figure out in Caribbean households, why is this acceptable? Why do the women stay with the man when they do such things? No. Better question. Why don't the women cheat back? What's good with the clap back? Me and Justin have discussed this before, like what are forgivables, what are not. I don't know if cheating is forgivable. I don't know. If we ever get to that road, we can discuss that. But what I do know is that I would get my lick back in less than 24 hours. Obviously, that's easier said than done, right? Like you say, you think that's going to be something that you do, but I need to understand. Because we need to be even. We need to be on an even playing field so then we can discuss forgiveness. Because when we're discussing forgiveness for you, of course, take me back. You should understand it was a mistake. I want to make mistakes too. I want forgiveness as well. So they on me. They feel they've been on me. So let's let's figure this out. Let's talk about forgiveness when both of us have made a mistake. But yeah, my biggest reason for this topic is because I need to understand if you're in a relationship and your man cheats on you or has a break baby, once you decide to get back with that man, that means you have accepted everything that comes with that, including that child. Children are innocent. Like literally, none of us, not one, has asked to be here. Okay? It's always a hot, sexy night that leads to a child being born. this is where it gets a little sticky. Some women in my family have asked my mom, oh, why have you accepted Pierre's outside children? And again, outside, not meaning disrespect. I mean outside of the marriage. I don't get it. I would never, da-da-da. And her thing was like, when I got back with him, I accepted everything that came with him. This child didn't do nothing to me. Now, the mother, we gonna screw her up. But the child is innocent. That's nothing to do with us. Once I decided to forgive my husband, I forgave everything that came with that. Right? She's a strong person. Like, that's her style. My style would be, no, I'm out. I don't know if I can forgive cheating. We can discuss that. But I know for sure I'm not dealing with a kid that happened during my marriage. I can't. I will never be mean to that kid, but me and my husband would not be together. He can exit and raise his kid in another home, and the kids can meet for birthday parties and special occasions. I'm here for it. They're siblings. They need to be connected. But Kathleen's over now. Kathleen Crawford, it's a fuck out of here. But anyway, some women are like, no, I want to take my husband back or my man back. You guys watch what is that called? Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. I can't think of her name. Jock's wife. Like, she's, every time he brings up the baby mother, she gets so triggered. Why did you take him back? If you take somebody back, you have to forgive everything. That doesn't mean forget, but it also doesn't mean keep bringing it up, keep doing things, no, you can't do it. You have to know what you're strong enough to take. There are other fish in Kendra. Her name is Kendra. Thank you, Tammy. There are other fish in the sea. And I know the sea is dirty. It's filthy. It's polluted. But there's a fish out there. Before I met Justin, I made it very clear to God and to everyone in my vicinity. I'm not dating or going to be in a relationship with anybody with a kid, because again, I was tainted. I didn't want to do that, and everybody's like, oh, that's impossible, you're never going to be somebody without a kid. I met a 40-year-old without a kid. What are we talking about? Anyway, I have an issue with the women who get back with the husbands but don't accept the children. You treat the children mean. You cause drama amongst the children. I don't like that. That's corny. That's weird. It's fucking weird. It's weird. Stop doing that. Like, that's not cool. Because what is the reason behind that? If you have a problem with the mother, I get it. Like, sis, you knew he was married and you were still creeping with him. It's up and it's stuck forever. But what do the kids have to do with it? Why? Why aren't you mad at your husband? Because the other woman didn't owe you nothing. She didn't stand in front of God with you. She didn't say vows. She didn't take pictures. She didn't meet your family. Nothing. Why are we so quick to forgive men and not allow grace? I mean, I'm not allowing grace to the other woman, but also, what does the other person owe you? Nothing at all. All of my uncles, every single one, has done it. I love all my cousins, but some of my cousins don't get along for reasons that are above us, that make no sense. It's none of your damn business. If you have an issue, take it up with your daddy. Unless that said sibling is causing drama, is being disrespectful to your parent, stuff like that, I can understand. But I haven't heard one of those stories yet. Well, I have heard one. She's way older. That's weird. Know what you can handle. Other family dynamics, single parents. We talk about single moms a lot, but do we talk about single dads? My brother was a teen parent. And outside of giving up all our business, that was a lot. He's a teenager trying to be a parent. Thankfully, he had a community, which is obviously my mom, me, my dad. At the time when we all lived together, our neighbor who gave him a discount on daycare. But do we talk about like single parents enough and how tough that is, or single dads? Because there are some trash ass mothers out here. Not all mothers are great, which is why I always put in my comments, active parents or active mothers. I'm always very clear about the word active, because having a child is the easiest part of the whole situation. The easiest. It's a pleasurable experience. Carrying said child, raising said child, everything else is tough. My friend, she's a single mom, and she mentioned the other day, like, you know, you can go on a trip, like, you have the opportunity, even if I want to go to the gym right now, I can get up and say, hey, Jess, I'm going to the gym, whatever. She doesn't have that, like, that luxury. She has to figure out who's going to watch her kid. Is he going to be home? Is he going to be home? He's old enough to be home alone, but is he going to be okay? Can she get food? She came like, oh, I want to go on a random date. I want to go random here, random there. Those are not options for her because she doesn't have a community. She doesn't have those options. Single parents also struggle financially. Like I told you guys in a previous live, when me and Justin had our hard time and we were discussing like possibly not being together, my thought was, okay, so obviously like Phoenix would stay with me, but then whoa. So you get to run around and have all the freedom and I got to raise this kid. And how does that look, right? And this is why they say it's cheaper to keep her. Thanks, James. Because outside of splitting the rent, right? I now have to pay the rent alone. I also now have to feed her alone because if you're giving me, let's say, quote unquote, child support, we're splitting daycare, we're splitting dance. How do we split food? How do we split clothes? Like, there's so much into single parenting. A lot goes into it. So I really want to give it up for the single parents. But I do want to acknowledge the single dads because I had the experience of living with one and experiencing a trash mother and just, why would this man say child support is 17%? And that's for the first kid. If you have more. But yeah, it's like the single dads there are great single dads out there. And there are a lot of single mothers out there who are really like pushing through, like really trying to do, like even if we're trying to plan a girls trip, my friend is like, hey, I can't just plan a girls trip. I have to consider, how is my kid getting to school? How is this, like, there's so many factors that go in that. And I assume that I have a lot of factors, right? Well, like we went to St. Martin. I'm like, okay, I am going to like leave Phoenix with my mom, and then my sister-in-law is going to watch Phoenix for 2 of the days because I don't want my mom to get overwhelmed. We just buried her brother, my uncle. And I'm like packing clothes for one house, packing clothes for the other house, packing snacks, writing down like she likes to eat this, she likes to eat that, no phone up to this time. I feel overwhelmed, right? And these are people who are around us all the time. I cannot imagine what it feels like, right? And you never know. It could happen to you. It could happen to me. Who knows? Crystal, I think it's important to separate single parenthood and co-parenting too. Those lines get blurry. 100% agreed. If you have an active parent in your life, an active co-parent, let's not say I'm a single parent, because you ain't. There are people who are literally single parents. They get no help. My brother got no child support, not $1, not one. And that means that he was working to support his kid. That means that my mom pitches in because, of course, like, we're a family. Everybody's going to help. Everybody's going to play their part. So yes, Crystal, I 100% agree. There's a difference between single parenthood and co-parenting. And the one thing that my mother told me, which was like a gem, I don't know if it's 100% factual, but I feel like it's like 95%. She said, married or not, when you, as a woman, have that baby, it's your baby. It's your baby. And think about it, right? Even when you're in a relationship with a man, things are going good. Well, I don't know. I'm just very controlling would be the right word for me. I needed to know what was happening with Phoenix. Justin was, don't hold her head like that. Don't do this, don't do that. It's your baby. It's your baby. Back in the days, men had the idea. I mean, there was an idea that a man can leave. I've watched a woman leave too, so that doesn't stand true. But let's say one parent has the option of leaving, and you as the active parent, you don't have the choice of saying, hey, I don't feel like it. I had a rough first trimester. I couldn't wake up and say I don't feel like it, but there are some days I could, because I had a partner to help me. But at the end of the day, Phoenix is my kid, right? She's mine. She's my responsibility. There's no sick days. There's sick hours. I can take a sick hour. I don't get a sick day. It's your baby. It's your baby. And that is a tough pill to swallow. And also, I want to make it very clear that there are married women who are single parents as well. I'm going to let that sit there. Please, ladies, don't be Risa Tisa. Don't be fooled by Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Those are highlight reels. I don't not use your mom PTO. I don't go on Instagram and post Justin in the living room and me in the bedroom when we're upset. Why would how could I capture that photo to put on Instagram for you guys? I can't. I'm gonna caption that we have been in a funk, for 30 days, but now we're in St. Martin having a blast because we've had a good 2 weeks, right? So you guys see this picture from St. Martin, you're like, they're so happy. And so meanwhile, we were in the house just because I'm out of it, like hormones, body, everything. And he like, all right, sis, I've been working your shift a little too long. But we just can't help it. It's like we're not mad at each other. We can't control what's happening, right? So then that causes feelings. And now this person's quiet. So now you think they mad at you. They're not even mad at you. They just had a bad day. So now I'm mad at him because I think he mad at me. And now he mad at me because why do I have an attitude and he had a long day? And I'm trying to figure out how did he have a long day and I'm carrying a kid. You see what I'm saying? It gets crazy. It gets really crazy. So don't be fooled by people's lives. We're all human. And there are married people who are single parents. You see them on Instagram like, oh, they're going out together as a family. Meanwhile, when they get home, daddy's not helping. Or I've heard stories, mommy's not helping. Mommy's on her phone. My ex was talking to me about his situation, and the woman wasn't helping, like literally on her phone, not cooking, not cleaning. She was stay-at-home girlfriend, not cooking, not cleaning, not helping her kid with homework, but on Instagram, taking pictures with her kid every 5 minutes. You don't know what's going on in people's homes. Don't envy nobody. Everyone got their stuff. Some stuff is manageable, some stuff is not. Another funny note is that I reference my nephew's mom as my sister-in-law. I call her forever sister-in-law because we have our own relationship outside of like her and my brother and my nephew, whatever. They're not together, but I call her my sister-in-law. And when her and my brother broke up, my nephew was so innocent, had the cutest question, and he asked, my brother had to break it down to him like, hey, me and mommy are not together. I have a girlfriend now. Mommy will have a boyfriend one day. And the first thing my nephew asked him was, does that mean that you're not my dad anymore? And as crazy as it sounds, you have to think about a little human and how acute is the word? How innocent that question was. Because the reality was that they were a family unit who have always lived in separate homes. He never knew them to live together. So in his mind, moms and dads don't always live together. I have a place at daddy's house. I have a place at mommy's house. And this is it. And even though at that time, they probably had been broken up maybe like a year, but they were still doing family outings. They were still going to his football games together, still celebrating birthdays, because it was the understanding of two mature people saying like, hey, this is not working. But the bigger picture is this human, right? He is our world. Like, he literally was like baby genius. I mean, both families on both sides were so excited to have him. After dealing with the trauma of the first baby mother, we were so happy to have a sister-in-law in our lives. And, she gave us this beautiful nephew that they just maintained. It wasn't a look, the reality. It was the reality of we never lived together. So he didn't understand seeing them in the same home. each person came to the other person's house still, like we still moved like a unit. But then they didn't want to confuse him if he happened to see my brother kiss his girlfriend or her kiss her boyfriend, so they had to explain it to him. So those are other family dynamics, right? Some people don't want to shack up. They're like, hey, if you don't want to marry me, we're not living together. I was that girl. Me and my best friend were talking about that on the phone today, and she's like, oh, I don't understand how these men are a certain age and they still live at home. And I was like, well, I'm not going to shame nobody who lives at home because, ma'am, I live in New York City. And had I not met Justin, I would have been right upstairs at my mother's house because, first, I have a fear of living alone. My roommate tried to get married our senior year of college. She got married in April. We graduated at the end of May. I literally begged her and her husband, like, no, you guys cannot leave. Literally. I was like, y'all can't leave. So they used to leave on the weekends, but Monday through Friday, they was with me. And on the weekends, I would hear all types of creaks and sounds. I'm like, I would be single with 0 joints. My roommate and her man have decided to leave. So if having a family dynamic where the two parents live in separate homes, if that works, if the child is happy, thriving, and growing, do what you have to do. Don't have the pressure of wanting to live with somebody or wanting to have this fairy tale idea, because that's not a true family dynamic. Also, another tough one are step parents, which goes back to my conversation of children being born outside of the marriage. If you decide, or outside of your relationship, if you decide, that this child who was born during a break or not a break, is going to be in your life, or you're going to forgive the man or woman who has done the betrayal or cheating, you are now a step parent. Step parenting is a lot of responsibility, which is why I said I never was gonna do it. I used to date this guy, and I think when I first came back from school, because I was working in the mall at the store called Epic, and he had a kid, and I probably was like 21, maybe I was 20, I don't know, because I had a fake ID since I was like 16. But anyway, step parenting ain't for the weak. And he kept trying to push this step parenting on me. He kept bringing his kid to the store, or we would meet at the coffee shop in my neighborhood, and he would bring the kid with him. And I was like, what he doing here? Because I'm telling. Thanks, Addie, for the fake ID. They thought I was African. They thought I was Nigerian when I was in Miami. It wasn't a fake ID. This was not Kathleen Delva. Anyway, so yeah, back to step parenting. And I just knew that, first of all, I was too young to be a parent. I definitely was too young to be a step parent. And he kept telling this kid, oh, this is going to be your mommy. This is going to be your mommy. And the kid had to be like he was like 2 or 3, because he was big enough to comprehend. But it was me. I was the one who wasn't comprehending. Because, nigga, what? Step parenting. It can be easy. There are so many fine lines to step parenting. I put like a meme. Excuse me, this kid I'm so gassy. In my story earlier of like the fine lines of step parenting, right? It's like assisting, but not crossing boundaries that are visible and invisible. And I think the biggest part of step parenting comes in is, and I'm not speaking from personal experience, but just, personally knowing people, is you don't know what trauma these kids witnessed before you got there, right? You don't know what their parental dynamics were, what the parents are arguing about, saying, whatever. Even while you're present, you don't know what the other parent is saying about you. Everyone is not my mom. My mom never spoke bad about any of my dad's kids' moms, because in her mindset, which is common sense mindset, was that they some hoes. They knew he was married. But outside of that, I love your kid. Like, I love kids. I love your kid. And I'm not about to put your kid in any kind of situation that makes them uncomfortable. Like, I'm not going to do that. That's not fair to the kid. My oldest was happy when his dad moved out. Everything became more functional. See, that was me. When my parents got divorced, like, I was like a little bit, I wanted them to get a divorce. Like I said in my previous live, I was sad about it, but I was happy. Like, man, you need to be free. No matter where the father is, society will always place the responsibility and the blame on the one that stays. 100% Crystal, the mama. And I see that you all agreed with mama's baby, daddy's maybe. Dang, I lost my train of thought. Oh, so step parenting. So you don't know what the child saw, went through, and now you've entered the situation, right? And you're coming in like, oh, I want to be their friend, or they're this, or they're that. I don't have the advice for it. I think that in order to be a step parent, you have to be emotionally mature. That's the one, at minimum, that you have to have. If you're not emotionally mature, and you guys know yourselves, you know if you petty, you know the level of things you can handle and cannot handle. If you're not emotionally mature, do not deal with someone with a child, because they are crazy parents. There are really retards out here who don't want you, but soon as somebody else wants you, they want to make you miserable. They still don't want you though. And now you're like, hold up, I thought y'all wasn't together, and I thought y'all wasn't messing around, and why is this person acting crazy? And it's just because they crazy. I didn't have the energy for crazy. Some people do. So my advice to be anybody who is thinking about being a step parent, it's not the most glamorous job, right? Sometimes the kids are evil. Okay? I know some demons. Oh, my brother mentioned a good thing. Who do you have around my kid? That's another thing. I always ask my mom, like, why didn't you and my dad get divorced sooner? Like, if you were as unhappy as you claim, why didn't you leave? And her whole thing was, I think one was society, right? Like, her really believing, like, yo, I married for better or for worse. And sis would have went to hell for him. not me. So she truly married for better or for worse. So obviously she thought things would get better. But her other factor was like, if I break up with him, I'm still in my prime. I want to have another man. Now I have to invite that other man into my home. And I have a young daughter. And I don't know this man. I didn't grow up with him. I have no clue about him. He's going to come in and tell me what I want to hear and sell me a dream. He could be a rapist. He could be anything. And it was not worth risking having you in the house, and having a man here. Like, in her mind, it was like she'd rather not be with my dad or stay single than to have a boyfriend come in. Even though we've seen great examples of stepfathers, like being the great thing. When my parents divorced, I just knew I was going to have a stepfather in 24 hours. And I didn't. I mean, not 24 hours, but maybe 24 months. And I still haven't found my stepfather. And stepfather, if you are out there, my mom is an educated woman. She's a retired nurse. She don't have no money. You're not using none of her pension. I capped it. But if there are any good men over there, we are accepting applications. You need to be 55 up. Like, I'm not letting her go no less than 10 years, because what are you giving? You need to have a good job that has a good pension, so we know when you retire, you're good. You also need to have life insurance. We're going to get on that next. But yeah, it's like, who do you have around my kid? Is this person stable? And my brother dealing with his children's mothers, we've had to be around the stepdads. We had a great relationship with one stepdad that went sour, but not because that was a bad person. It was because the crazy, aka the mama, she was twisting the stepdaddy's head. And then that situation got crazy. Stepdaddy wound up doing a couple months in lockup, like, for real. And then when he got out, he called my brother like, wow, I should have believed you. This heifer is crazy. And now we're all back to cool again. But like, people are really going through stuff with step parents or crazy parents. Anyway, the point is that when you break up with your spouse, you don't know if the step parent is going to be a good step parent or a bad step parent. And that also puts you in a tough spot. My mom wants to reiterate that she actually does not want a 55-year-old. She needs somebody 60 to 70. He must have life insurance. That is my standard. And he must have a good pension, because she's not taking care of no man. That's a dub. So yeah, step parenting is not for the weak. Are there any step parents in here? Can you tell me like some of the challenges some of the challenges you experience as a good step parent? And then for the single parents, what are some of the things that you are experiencing? I already spoke about like single parents experiencing traveling issues. Oh, Auntie Carol, you need a man too? Because we're putting it out there, honey. You were looking sexy in St. Martin. My auntie don't drink. She's a vegan. She's clean on the inside, clean on the outside. Okay, she could use a good man. Yes. Oh, my auntie said no. She said her husband was a good man, and when he passed, that was the last good man she was gonna meet on this earth. I heard you, auntie. Yes, my friend was a stepmom, and that mother was crazy. There's a lot of non-active mothers out there. Let's send them to jail. Lock them up. Different rules and expectations for kids when they live in two different homes. Yes, Carly, oh my God. Our house is the chore rule house. Everyone always had chores and rules outside of me. Because, come on. What do I look like washing dishes? But my nephew, my oldest nephew, when he was in between homes and his mother was being a witch, that house was considered the quote-unquote fun house, right? Because she had no brain, so she couldn't provide any structure. So that house, Kim said, who's everybody? So when he was back at our home, it was our rules growing up were I could not go outside Monday through Thursday. Once we got home from school, we were to do our homework. We could watch Fresh Prince. I used to watch Oprah because I've been grown. And Kim, as you guys know, always been bad. He used to hop the back fence, play basketball. And if my mom or dad called, he was going to put the phone out the window so that he could act like he's in the house with me. So we always grew up with like these strict kind of rules. We always had to read books. I always had to read books. Kim never had to read. But yeah, I always had to read a book and explain to my mom and my dad what the book was about. My school used to give like a summer reading list. I think you had to read one book and like write a book report on it. Like, what is good with summer vacation? Anyway, so my nephew, obviously, we're trying to instill the same thing in him, which I'm going to try to instill the same thing into Phoenix, which is that Monday through Thursday is about education. So you're going to be going to school. When you come home, you're going to eat, you're going to do your homework, and you're going to enjoy some television. We didn't have tablets and phones and all these things. So that now brings a new dynamic of like how much screen time do these kids have? Because have y'all seen these kids? They'll sit on a video game all day. My nephew will literally play a video game all day and won't eat. Then come downstairs like 6 p.m. like, where's my breakfast? Breakfast? We done had 2 meals. We had 3. We're working on dinner. They're zombies now, so you got to figure that out. But yeah, the dynamics of 2 different homes. What are the rules? Are the parents willing to have the same rules? Are the parents willing to have the same punishments? Another scenario is in like a kid who's not behaving. You're in one home, you tell dad like, hey, can you come get her? She's not listening. I'm taking her phone, I'm taking her devices. And then she comes to this house, she tries to play slick. Like, nah, my mom said I could use my phone and my devices. Then it's too much. These kids are manipulators. And if 2 parents are not on the same page, then it makes it harder for the step parent and harder for anybody else, the aunties and uncles who have to assist. So yeah. I know I stated a hard no for me, which is a child coming into into my marriage and me staying? What are some hard no's for you guys as far as like it pertains to family or step parenting or children, etc.? What are some, oh my God, excuse me, what are some hard no's for you guys? Have any of you guys had to deal with children born in your relationship or during a break? And how do you handle that? Are you a step parent? Are you not? Can you hit the stepkids? I need to know. My stepdad stepped up when I needed him. Both bonus parents are great. See, Kim, that is beautiful. Like, I love to hear stories like that because there are so many great women and so many great men out there. One of my friends, her bonus mom is so sweet. I love her. Every time we see her, it is like literally pure love just radiates off of her. And obviously we're older, but she's been around since she was young, and she's just the sweetest. Just catching up on the comments. Hell no, you can't hit the stepkids. Say what? One of my friends said, hell no, you cannot hit the stepkids. The other one said, yes, stepkids can get hit hands too if you're in my house. Yeah, I'm one of those people, like, when Phoenix was younger, like, I didn't have an issue with my friends needing to raise their voice or give her a little tap on the hand, because I believe it takes a village. But some people are not like that. It's like, hey, don't yell at my kid, and definitely don't hit my kid. Now, I don't like kids hitting kids, and I keep telling my niece not to touch my kid. And Phoenix is at the age where she's snitching. So she told me that my niece gave her pow on the butt. So I'm still waiting to pull up on my niece, because I don't know how many times I keep telling this girl, do not hit my kid. Get an adult. Because some kids are like, they can't handle the power of being the older kid. She's that kid. She can't handle power. Nah. So now I got to show her what power really look like. Okay, before we go, can you guys name your favorite dysfunctional family movie? What is a family movie that you're like, yeah, this was a goodie, but they was all jacked up? When we think about Home Alone, why was ACS not called? Help me understand, please. Because I was 21, okay, sitting on the steps with a boy, and my neighbors have all called my mother to tell her that there's a boy on the steps. Can you imagine that my parents went on vacation for 9 days and not one neighbor saw me and called the police or ACS or auntie somebody? Oh, yes, Chantry, soul food. Classic line. The family? I let the family in my house and the family effed my husband. Cool. My mother makes it very clear. Don't let nobody live in your house. You let people live in your house, good luck on getting them out. We just had to get one of my cousins out this summer. That was a tough one. Don't let people live in your house, especially young, sexy women around your grown-ass husband. The flesh is weak. Y'all don't read the Bible? What other movies or shows give y'all dysfunctional family, dysfunctional families? When the Fresh Prince went to live with his family in Bel Air, were they considered like step parents? Or that was, you live in my house, you follow my rules? They weren't dysfunctional. They had like regular family issues. Well, outside of his father being a drunk. And what was good with his mother? Where was his mother at? Family. I'm still waiting for you guys to drop some more movies. But in the meantime, I just want us to recap on the things that we learned today. Meet the Pains. Oh, okay. Anything with Medea is dysfunctional, okay? Medea is telling women to throw hot grits on folks. And people out here really doing it. Leave that for the movies. Another dysfunctional family. Kanan and Rock. And his daddy. Do y'all see the finale? Now, what kind of trauma is he going to have when he get a step parent? Because the teacher guy tried to be his stepdaddy, and that was going good until Rock messed it up because she's Rock. What's going to happen next? Is Tasha going to come out of federal protection? And will Tyreek and his slow ass get a stepdaddy? Like, those are the kind of kids I do not want to step parent ever in life. But let's recap. Family dynamics. You don't have to be married to have a beautiful family. If marriage is what you would like, I wish it for you. You don't have to be married to have children. With all the things that are happening with the foods that we're eating, the foods are giving us cancer, amongst everything else, high cholesterol, diabetes, whatever. COVID has left some lasting symptoms. After I got my COVID shot, for a while when I would bend down, I would get dizzy. That happened for like 6 months. Who knows the effects of that? Oh my God, Lizette, the Family That Prays. That is one of my favorite Tyler Perry movies. So now Lathan was wildin'. Oh, hey, Pop. My dad has joined. Dang, I lost my train of thought. Yeah. So for the women who want to have children, if you're with a good man, don't wait to get married to have children. If you both are if you're on the same page, and accept the responsibility, because as women, we're aging. You don't even know if your egg quality is great, right? You assume that because you're 30, 31, you have the best eggs in the world. It's not true. We don't know what's happening in our bodies until we try. So if you're in a great situation, have a kid. When you have a kid with anybody, when you choose to have unprotected relations with anybody, you will have to assume the responsibility of the kid. Don't tell these women it's your body, it's your choice. We know it is. But we also want to hear how you feel. Do you want this baby? Yes or no? And you can say no. You really have no choice as to what happens after that. But let's use honesty in this world. For women who decide to stay with men who have children during their marriage or during a break, if you forgive that man, you low-key have a responsibility to be around that child one day. You can't avoid that child forever. You can't have your children not be around that child. It's just not realistic. Like, would you want to be treated like that? If you were the child born outside of a relationship, would you want to be treated that way? Which brings me to another point. A lot of y'all would not even be born if your mother wasn't a side chick. So the nerve of you to shame side chicks. My aunt was a side chick, and she out here shaming side chicks. She's not my aunt. I don't know what she is. But whatever. Y'all get the point. Yes, Marina said, you have to want a baby for the right reasons, not to keep a man. A baby will not keep a man. It will do the opposite. Kids change you. I said it in my last live. Who I was when me and Justin were dating is not the same person I am as a mother. Everything in my life has changed, especially my priorities. Okay? So, who he met, he got a different version. And I don't know if to him she's better or she's worse, but this is who she is. She's a mother. Okay? So if you choose to stay with somebody, side chicks, let's stop shaming other side chicks. Women, fix your attitudes, please. Men, fix your attitudes as well. It takes two to tango. The goal for all parents should be that the children are happy and healthy. And that means both parents being active, showing up to football games, showing up to basketball games, showing up. Like I said, my nephew didn't have an active mom. So when you ask me being auntie mom, it's because it's like, nah, we are like, he's not going to feel neglected. He's not going to feel left out in any situation because I'm going to be at his football game in the cold, which Kim no, I don't like. But I'm going to go to his high school and go to the basketball game. I'm going to make him pay for my rearview mirror when he illegally takes my car for a spin. Like, I'm going to give him the life lessons, but also be there to love and nurture him because some women are just naturally nurturers. Yes, a team. And a team does not mean people who are married and living together, right? I gave you guys a great example of a team. My nephew was so confused that his parents were breaking up because he didn't not see a team. He's always saw a team, even though they were in two different households. Motherhood is not for the weak. Physical and mental sacrifice. I'm trying to figure out how y'all have multiple kids because, well, at least when I was pregnant with Phoenix, I only had to take care of myself. Now I got to take care of myself with a kid in my body who wants to eat constantly. This girl won't stop talking, and I still have to have quality time with my man. And the reality is that I don't want to be bothered with any of them. I don't feel good. I don't feel greatest. I don't feel the strongest. Now I'm feeling much better. I was in the gym yesterday. Like, I'm getting back into my groove, but I'm also at the halfway mark of pregnancy. So imagine what that was looking like prior. What other things? Step parents. If you don't want to be a step parent, it's okay. That is okay. Say it. But don't stay in a situation and make that kid feel like terrible or bad or sad, because kids may forget what you say, but they never forget how you made them feel. Okay? That goes for everybody. There are people in my family who I will never forgive. I'm going to speak to forever, but I will never forget how you made me feel, whether that was uncomfortable, disrespected, etc. God forgives. Kathleen does not. Don't feel like Risa Tisa, ladies. Don't feel the pressure to ignore red signs. Red flags because you want a relationship so bad. Don't. When a man tells you who he is, or a woman tells you who she is, the first time, believe them. I'm talking to an audience at this point who is 30 and up. We had our times with the crazies. When a woman says, yeah, I'm crazy, she's not talking like me. Like, I say I'm crazy, but I'm just talking. Like, my mouth is crazy. I'm going to curse you out and make you feel like you're going to the depths of hell. Some women are really crazy. Like cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, like undiagnosed bipolar, ADHD. They need Miss Quinnell Hickman as a therapist. Kind of crazy. So I think that wraps up tonight. Thank you guys so much for joining the Family Dynamics, and I hope that you guys are becoming better people after this conversation, or just opening up your minds to it might be cheaper to keep her. Because like I said, I'm like, hey, if me and Justin split, it seems like I'm getting majority of the bills. Because if I keep that kid here, I gotta handle clothes. Like, obviously he would help. I'm not saying he would be a bad parent, but when you don't live with the kid, you don't realize how much financially is spent on said child. You don't realize that these kids want to eat. Phoenix asked me for a Elsa dress. We got her the damn dress. She wore the dress twice. Then she want a Princess Tiana dress. We got her the dress. She wore the dress, okay, maybe like a week. Excuse me. Now today, mommy, can you buy me a unicorn dress? If you don't live with the kid every day, you don't understand all the financials that these kids put you through. That's my TED Talk. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Thank you guys all for joining. I really appreciate you. The one thing that I'm going to ask before you guys go is please like, share, and comment. I keep running into you guys who are like, oh, I loved your content. I'm like, you didn't like it. You didn't even put a comment. Put a comment like, yo, Kat, love the conversation, or good job. Those things spread my, it helps the algorithm. So like, give me a heart, share it in your DMs. I don't care where you share it at, and write a comment. Okay. Or get smacked silly. Good night, guys.